Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Freedom Mastery Weekly Mastermind. I'm excited to share some inspiration with you and also to talk to you about how your week has gone. If you're catching the replay, thank you so much. And you are always welcome to email me and reach out when you're done with this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. And other than that, let's get into it. So we're on week 6 of the series, Awaken to Your Greatness. Jump, Barbara says. Jump. I just see someone soaring through the air with that. Oh, yes. Pull into the harbor of perfect harmony. And that just kept coming to me. The word harmony keeps coming to me. So I'm just here inspiring you to pull into a harbor of harmony, you know, and it is, I do believe it's something that's rare, because if you think about how you feel around people, when you get around people, even on Facebook, even not physically, even just online, you think about how you feel around them, and you can quickly usually tell how they're feeling, what they're projecting from what they're going through. And if we sit in that enough, then that's kind of our harbor. That's without even realizing it. That's where, and there's a fine line, right, between being there and supporting. And, you know, Jesus sat with the people. He ate with them. It wasn't a separation of anything like that. He blended in with them. He was with the people. He was one of them. And I think that that's really powerful, but it's also a sign of leadership and a sign of more responsibility. We have more responsibility on who we are to the world, who we're seen to be in the world. And it gets really, really nice when we see beyond the physical. And I do believe, and I'm going to give you some quotes from this, from the book that we're studying, Science of Being Great. I've also been rereading my mentor's book, How Is That Working by Robert Wallace. If you haven't read that, you definitely want to read that book. I honestly read it over and over. Every now and then I just open it to get a couple of good quotes that really will give me some strength for whatever I'm going through at that moment. And that helps a lot. Barbara says there are some people I want to accept friend requests from if I check their page and if I get a feeling, right, not a warm and fuzzy, right. And that's where, you know, we have our standards, and it's not that we are not available and helpful for people, but again, you know, we can only help people that are looking for something, and it's got to be something that we have. I do believe that we have a person that we do tend to feel good around, not only feel good around, but that we're meant to be around, that we're created to be around. You look at the communities, all the religions, all the spiritual sects, and all the different sections, and all the government and politics. You know, there's a purpose for everything under the sun. There's a purpose for every group of people and congregation, and whatever they feel they need to do, if they need to separate from whatever it is to make a point. You know, if you look at why people are doing what they're doing, when they're against something, it's usually because they're attempting to stand up for something else. But they're doing it in the way where they're being negative, or they're, it's a feeling, and we get it. And when you're being led by the Spirit, even more so, I think more quickly, you begin to be able to sort through who really we're meant for. Yes, and being positive is important and key, because people are watching you, you know, and here's the big thing for me too, and where I'm getting a lot of messages, and people are saying, you know, what your guys doing, what your family's doing is so exciting. And I really wish I could do that. You make it look so easy, but our family could never do something like that. And I messaged them back, and I'm like, it's not easy. Like, I just had a meltdown back there crying. Like, I just had a weak moment where I didn't feel as strong as I did this morning. Right. And it's going to happen. When we know it's going to happen, though, that's the key, is that we can expect it and we're prepared for it. So I'm just going to get into it. And there's not a whole lot of things to really write down. And again, you guys can rewatch these. I often rewatch my own videos, and I learn a lot. So things that you might even notice that you see in me, or that could be improved, and things like that. Like, when I go back and watch them, I learn. I feel like I teach myself through doing this. So I'm here to let you know that to do this, you don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to know what the final thing is going to look like. Like there's a finding out in the action and in doing it. Even when you don't just feel so uncomfortable and you might not know exactly what you're doing, there is a finding out in the process. So, okay, so here's something that was a quote from this book. We may divide thinkers into those who think for themselves and those who think through others. Now, this is something I've mentioned before. In the spiritual world, you can see that a lot, where it's different. You know, you go to hear the word through someone else, which is great and necessary. But to get onto the side of the thinking where we actually create our own thoughts and take a look at where our thoughts are or have been. So number one, what we're going to look at is uplifting you to the level you wish to uplift others. So the example that we are setting for ourselves on a daily basis for every single thing in life. And the first person I ever heard say this was Tracy O'Malley. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And that lady helped me. It took me a long, long time to learn that. And it's very, very true. And the people that are closest to you are the ones that are learning and being uplifted or not uplifted to the level that you are either uplifted or not uplifted. So to help encourage others around us to do that too, to be that uplifting person, like when you're at work or when you're with family members that might not be uplifting, you know, reminding them the kids are learning from them, but in a nice way. You know, from the heart. And you have to use discernment too. You know, some people are open to that kind of thing and some people aren't. And it's best to just keep our mouth shut. If we know people aren't open and we've tried to open our mouth before and it didn't work, you know what I mean? It's the parable of the sower falling on ground. Like, you know, you see the cement there and you see it's dead ground for now. You know, I don't think anybody's dead forever. Everybody has opportunity, possibility. I see it in everybody. I truly do. And that's where it's hard for me to not accept friend requests and to like want to just be everybody's friend and want to help everyone. But anyways, okay, so let's keep going. In every way, the price of success is paid in advance. And this is a Robert Hollis quote. And it came from somewhere else probably at some point. But we know that the price of success is paid in advance. So what's looking easy right now, what's feeling easy to you, like think of something you do great right now that you're actually really good at, that comes natural maybe to you. You've probably been practicing it for a while, but it feels good to do it. It's comfortable. It's easy. You know what to expect. But truly, you've probably been working on it a while. It's probably not something that you just picked up and learned right away. There's probably been time, or at least time thinking about it. You know, like my 6-year-old, Lily, she thought about riding that bike and she made those plans in her head to ride her bike for probably about a year. I think we had the bike before she actually got on it and rode it. And the day she got on and rode it, lo and behold, she took off and just went and seemed like a natural. But for a year, she had been struggling to get on the bike and take off, to get that courage built up. It took her a year. So you think about that and how powerful that is, that year of buildup, that she finally got on it and gave herself the confidence. And I kept encouraging too, obviously, me and her father, who had gave her the bike for her birthday, and she didn't end up using it for a long, long time because she didn't want the training wheels on it. So she knew she was going to give it a shot. She just had to build up the courage to do it, the belief that she could. So truly anything that you're finding success in has already been paid for. And the beauty of this is that if we are successful in anything right now, no matter what it is, the beauty of this is we can be successful in anything else. Anything, at any time. It's never too late. We're never too old. We're never out of season. Like, we always have the ability to learn something new. And you look at, the business we're in, right, online, in networking and in social marketing. Most people are in their middle ages. Most people are doing this because they're at the age where they realize, I need to do something different. I need to do something different to get what I really, really want.
So is 001, does 001 make 100?
If the one's in the front.
No,
we're learning how to write 100. Oh, hey, careful, guys. Be nice. Okay. So on to the next, guys. So that goes on. That brings me to the next kind of quote is successful people do what unsuccessful people do. And they'll do it behind the scenes for a very long time before anybody knows they're even doing it. So that's just so key in being willing, you know, to have that integrity, to have that consistency in a ritual or routine that's going to get you to success, whatever it is you're looking for. Like for me, the first thing I focused on was my morning ritual. I'm like, until I get a morning ritual in place consistently, I know I'm going to struggle with being full of anxiety and overwhelm during the day. And I know that I can't manage a business and manage my family. I know I can't do it all. It's okay. We'll fix it. Unless I am balanced as can be. Now, there's no perfection. I don't find perfection ever. And like Barbara says, true too, a season for everything. That's, you know, that's even goes for the day to day. There's a season, there's a moment for everything, right? Like in that moment of when I do happen to get anxious anyways, or I stress, you know, even though we prepare, we got to be flexible. So when the stressors do come and when I am just kind of knocked off my rocker, being able to bounce back super quick is like so big. It's just so big to be able to get to that point. And it's not like I'm bragging. It's not like I'm any better or any different than anybody else. I was just willing to get in place a habit, a success habit that my millionaire mentor recommended I do. I had been hearing that. You know how they say when the student's ready, the teacher appears, right? So I had been hearing stuff about that and about that. You know how they say that a lot of times success is found in just changing a few things. You don't even have to change a whole lot. That usually you're doing all the right things, but maybe in the wrong order. So one of the things I found was this ritual that I was doing, my prayer, my meditation, I was doing in the afternoon. Now, most people might think that's not a big deal. You know, morning, afternoon, it's all the same. It's a big deal. It's very different. Morning is very different than afternoon. By the afternoon, I'm baked and done, and I am like not going to revive myself much anymore if I didn't lift myself to that super, super as high as I could get in that hot air balloon. Like I envision, a lot of times I do a visualization of myself lifting up in a hot air balloon. And the only words that I repeat, and I got this off of a YouTube video at some point somewhere, was I'm going higher and higher. I'm going higher and higher. I'm seeing from a broader and broader perspective the world around me. I see my family from a broader perspective than mom. I see my husband from a broader perspective than wife. And I just try to open my eyes and connect it with that visualization of me lifting up into the hot air balloon. Because then when stressors come, I can close my eyes and quickly visualize that lifting in the hot air balloon, and it's a tool and a resource for me to use to get out of that moment. And I can teach my kids things like this too as I'm learning this. So just wanted to share that super, super quick thing that I have found recently that just has helped me a lot. And it's a visualization. I do like a meditation style in the mornings, but I don't do it to music or anything, to complete silence. And I had to kind of build up to that. I meditated for a year with music, with background music, not in silence. So everybody doesn't jump into silent meditation. From what I'm reading about it, it's something you kind of just either is for you and you choose to keep meditating until you meditate in silence, or you just choose to keep meditating with music or guided meditations like the ones in the morning ritual resources. Those are just amazing as far as guided ones go. But eventually, you know, God wants to talk to you without being guided. It is kind of just what comes to my spirit and what I felt God was saying to me. And I feel that is the case for every human being, not just me. I don't feel like God speaks anything to people that he can't speak to everyone. And I say he, that's just the way I say it. And I know some people think it could be he, she, or it. So one of the other things that helps so big into pulling into that harbor of perfect harmony is spending time in nature on a regular basis. It sounds cliche. It's something I have said before, I know, but it is very important. And I find it brings a huge difference. Just even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, we can often get stuck with being inside on the computer. Even when we're working from our phones, often we're sitting in the house. And it's great, that relaxing, that warmth, that environment in our home that we create for ourselves is very important and vital in our health, mind, body, spirit. To set yourself up for success within your own environment. your like haven of peace, right? That you can go to and know that that's going to be your haven. And maybe if it can't be your whole house, maybe it's just a room in your house, or a temporary, even a space somewhere, that you can go consistently, because it connects. There's a connection with the mind and with the location, even the smells. Like when I put a certain oil in my diffuser, I'll immediately think of, like, if I put Gentle Baby, I'll immediately think of my very first pregnancy. I will go back in time, like I time travel. I believe it, through I know, of all things, through aromatherapy. But you guys know too, all my oily friends here, how real that is and how that connection works. So again, the location you spend your quiet time in, that you go to often for your haven of harmony, can be a tool and a resource for you to go to quickly and easily to get to that level of peace, that harmony that we so desperately want, to be the best mom, to be the best human being, to just, be inspired and inspiring. Aromatherapy is very powerful. And if anybody doesn't already know about that, you can research. Barb knows a lot about it. She's years into that. And I just love it. And I see the results of it, and I use it on a daily basis, aromatherapy. And that's my perfume is natural essential oils. I don't use any chemicals in anything I put on my body or anything like that. And I always recommend too, as part of your daily routine of perfect harmony too, to detox everything. Detox your food, your energy, the people in your life. I mean, the saying of you are the 5 people you're around most, that has been coming to me over and over again recently, to remind everyone too, that the people you can, and it's not always the people you're around every day, but the people you consistently connect with the most. Like for instance, us here on Thursday nights, absolutely grows into who we are, because we're in it on a regular basis. We're hearing the things on a regular basis. It's why people send their kids to school, right? To learn how to be schooled, to learn how to follow instructions, to learn how to be led. And I do believe that it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of creativity. It takes a lot of time, willpower, to do our own thing, to really, really do what God has called us to do, because all of the world is going to be calling us to do something else. Everybody, you quickly discern, kind of where your journey is going to take you when you begin asking that question. Does this person wanting me to do this, or wanting me to do something for them, for their good, which is okay too. It's not that there's anything wrong with that, or for my good. Are they in it for me or for themselves? Now, it's okay, obviously, if you have a client, obviously they're going to be in it for themselves, right? And that discerning in relationships, and in even times that you talk to people, like if you're on a business call and this is your hour of business that you have structured, that you're going to do business calls, and you're calling these people, your clients maybe, or your team members, to check in on them, or you're messaging them, you can get into personal conversation, but you have to remember that you're not a therapist and it is a business, and you've got to keep going through your people to make sure you're taking care of everyone that deserves your attention, because so many people need our attention. So many people need the resources we have. I do believe that. I do believe it. But I also believe that a lot of people aren't willing to put in the work. They're not willing to give the energy. They're not willing to go the extra mile and do their part. And I mean, Melody's just the biggest helper, coach, mentor on this, is that you cannot do it for anyone. We cannot do it for anyone else, before we do it for ourselves, obviously first too. So another powerful visualization I'm gonna give you here, because this is in the book, so you can listen to the audio that's in the files for the science of being great. And this is, so you're gonna visualize a steamer, and in due time, we're gonna come into this grand harbor, right? And that nothing is wrong, that all of the things that we need are on this steamer, right? The best food, the best resources, the best of everything is provided on this steamer, right? All we got to do is get on the steamer and then contribute, right? Be part of the team that's doing it. But that's one of the things. I just did a Facebook Live about, making it look easy, and what goes on behind the scenes of when you think it looks easy, or for what does look easy. And that's one of the parts, is having a team and having steamer that is pulled by a lot of people. And that's where we have, our coaching community, this community here, of course, Vision Team. If you're in Vision Team, that's the ultimate, like, if you're an entrepreneur, absolutely. But we want to visualize when you're on this journey, when you're on the steamer, that nothing is going wrong. You want to visualize the harbor that you're pulling into and what the perfect picture of peace is for that you're landing in. And keep that in your mind powerfully. And the only way to do that is to consistently bring it to your mind on a daily basis. That's the only way. So number 2 is to think it till you see it. Forward movement only. That's my kind of mantra every day, is just, am I moving forward? If I get stuck, or I feel like I'm stuck, or maybe someone else thinks I'm stuck, right? My husband might look at me and think I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Maybe he thinks I should be doing something else. And, I ask myself, am I moving forward? Is what I'm doing right now bringing me forward, or is it holding me back? And it's usually one or the other. And I can quickly tell. So, one of the big things this book reminds us is, unless we see all of God's works, all of them, as being well and being good, then truly it's difficult for us to see ourselves as being well and doing good and in the process of completion, right? Versus being shipwrecked and needing repair. That we're all leading to completion. How beautiful is that? That literally anything that we desire in the thinking world, we can absolutely manifest. There's a plan. I do believe there is a divine plan. I believe God does have a plan, or that there is a plan over our life that is bigger than what we maybe are wanting and seeing, because in our physical being, how can we know possibly what the true possibilities are, right? I mean, how can we possibly know what all it is God has for us? There's no way to know. There's no way to know what's ahead. And that's where living by faith and believing, thinking it until you see it over and over and over. The perfect days, Melody, her 30-day accountability challenges us to do a perfect day for 30 days in a row. And I quickly realized, probably by day, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks in already, that in a lot of ways, I was living my perfect day every day. There were days where I'd write my perfect day and be like, I'd read it like a couple days later and think, that was kind of today. That could be today. And by the end of the 30 days, that is what I realized, that as we are writing and when we're putting our thoughts and our heart down on paper and we're writing our perfect day, we are literally bringing it to be. And it could be instant. There's no time with God. That's one thing too, that we've always got to remember. Time, distance, that is no reality to God. So when we can see with the spiritual eyes and with God's eyes and be able to go beyond time and beyond what people see, because that's where most people are focusing. That's where the focus usually is when it comes to anything. Relationships, it's what you see. What are people doing? What are you giving? Gifts, holidays, what am I doing for you? What is he doing for me? It's like, love me, love me, love me. Instead of, let me serve you. What can I do for you? What do you need? Do you need something? Can I help you? Having that mindset and taking that first step to be that person to give. In a long-term marriage, any long-term, anything, business, relationship, anything, there's always going to be a time where there's a lull in keeping communication. We're human. Anytime we're human, that's normal. And I think that that's where a lot of long-term relationships could make it long-term, if they were to think that way and see it that way, as more like a, life experience with seasons versus, anyway, I don't want to go into too much of that. So, y'all know I've been married 3 times and I don't see divorce as bad. I don't. I see it as it can be bad. I do say that. It can be bad. It definitely is painful, no matter what, even if it's good for you. I've been through a couple that were good for me, but were painful. And I have friends that are going through them that are, we believe it's what is healthiest, but it's painful. It's still painful. And there's kids involved and there's all these other things in the mix, right? But, and now that brings me to number 3 is choosing to see. We choose what we see. Our perception of our life, the reality we live every day it's just a choice. We choose what we want to see and what we're going to focus on. And a lot of times, you know, we don't even realize that, you know, we've gotten to focus on the physical, you know, that we've overlooked the heart, and that we forget the value of man, and that we forget that in just a little bit. Yeah. And it's normal. It's normal. We're human. You know, our first instinct will be to look at the mistake. And the beauty of this is, as we're asking God, help me not focus on mistakes. Help me focus on the successes. And as we keep consistent with our rituals, whatever they are that we put into place. For me, in the mornings, I'm going to give you some things later that I do that are seemingly mundane, but that have become ritual, that I just do every day, and that I didn't realize how impactful they would be. So choosing to see and looking at the successes, focusing on the successes, exercising. I mentioned willpower earlier. Willpower is, and this book explains it, being able to direct your thought willfully, right? Being able to immediately say, I'm directing my thoughts away from this and towards this, right? Or whatever the case may be. But using willpower, having that willpower doesn't come immediately unless we build the power, right? Power is built. It's like strength. We're building it and growing it, and realizing it. And if we don't know what our power is, it's like when you think of a singer. This just popped in my head. When you think of a singer, right? That goes on the stage, and I saw it with my daughter when she was doing her singing. The first time they get on stage and grab the mic, they're going to be like, and they're looking around and they're unsure, and they're like, and they're like kind of mumbling and they're unsure, and the singing instructor is over there going, like in the background, and they're, as soon as they catch the eye, they're like, and they're like, okay, I must be doing good. And they start getting louder. And by the end of the song, they're belting it out. They're dancing on the stage. The whole audience is clapping and laughing because they're like going off, not caring what anybody thinks anymore. But that takes time to build that. It doesn't come right away for anything. And even when it does come, it can still, like, you know, creep back in. You know, the day-to-day average stuff we have to deal with distracts us from the divine spirit that's within us. And it's normal. It's like a beautiful kind of, I just think of it as like the symbiosis, right? That we get physical for a while, and maybe you're with your mate, and, you know, it's at night or whatever. There are other things in the spiritual. We're going to indulge in other things. We're going to live a physical life, and we're going to enjoy all of the blessings and the gifts God's given us. And that includes physical, spiritual, mental, all of the things. So beautiful. So I'm so grateful to be just sharing these basics here with you, that God just keeps reminding me. And, you know, for a lot of us, I know that's what this is. I know that a lot of us have been on a journey for a long time, or multiple journeys, right? And just the beauty of having a community of people that are willing to be on a journey together, right? Even if it's not the same journey, even if, you know, it might be a little bit different than the next person, but just the community and the connection is really key in being consistent and in growing that willpower, that strength, and that peace and harmony, that harbor of just perfect harmony. This minute. Emerson, I want to say one more quote, and then I have a scripture. So Emerson said, "Great men are they who see that spirituality is stronger than any material force, that thoughts rule the world." Now, in the Bible, in Matthew 23, is Jesus's. So this is number 4. Number 4 is serve greatly. And this is a repeat of last week, because I know last week we talked about service, but I want to cover it again here because this book actually covered Jesus' example in Matthew, how Jesus makes a plain distinction between true and false greatness, between adopting the principle of the Pharisees for like power, recognition, fame, master, just to be called master, right? For the title, for the physical, right? Versus he who is great, let him serve, was what Jesus had said. And that example is exactly what he calls us to, though not through giving ourselves away in servility, and not through obviously harming other people and just overgiving and not allowing them to have their own responsibilities. You want to come sit? We're going to have Lily come sit on this side over here. Yeah, come sit over here. Okay, so Lily's going to join us.
Hello.
So, hi. And if anyone has any questions, y'all are welcome to pop off. I'm almost done. I have just a few things now that I just want to share with you. And this is just some things that one might consider mundane. Careful. And these are examples of how I serve on a daily basis, how I have adopted the spirit of service and how I put it into action. And this is really obviously it's gonna focus first on what we do here in social media and online platform, because I know that, like me, many of you, that's your goal, is to coach people online, to actually impact a lot of lives in the online space, because we don't have limits, right? For how the spans of who God brings to us is what I feel happens. So I like to focus on that. And so here's something too that I just wanted to tell you. So I love the shift. So this is when, and this was in the book too, the shift from wondering, what's that? Okay. It's a shift from wondering about how something is going to turn out to realizing how it's going to turn out. Like when you get that pop of, oh, I see it now. And then then that gives us the determination, right? To continue with all the things that we need to do. Coach Barbara says, hi. Yes, all things are possible with him. Right, Barbara? That is so right. Sorry, my screen is like glitching up on me. I'm trying to fix it. Okay.
It's only one
Sorry. Okay.
Step.
So, it's okay. Oh, yes, my nasty on. So anyway, the fact is your dreams, our success, like literally whatever we want, I do believe comes true when we say it comes true. And the desire that we have, the desire for whatever that is that we're seeking, whether it's to be a peaceful mother or to be a successful marketer, claiming it to be true now and really getting in that mindset is so, so key. So as I was doing these things like a year ago, I started doing a lot of these. And it was because my goal was to impact a lot of lives. I wanted to impact and touch a lot of lives, particularly moms. I wanted to help them be, better in their daily life, feel better about themselves, love their children more, just all the same things. It was me, that's who I was wanting to impact, because I was realizing how things could change for the better. I was realizing that there was a better way, even though I didn't see it all, right? I couldn't see the full picture. I was starting to visualize I got to show you one of my first perfect days looked like. And in time, as I wrote, actually this was probably, so 11/29, you can actually see the date up there, 11/29/17. So it was one page, but that was in November. I started writing perfect days, I think it was in October. So that was after a month. So this was probably double. When I first started, it was probably about that much. So, visualizing and seeing what's coming isn't always easy. You don't always see it, and sometimes you don't see it until right when it's going to happen. But a lot of times you grow to see it. It's a visual. It grows in time, right? So along these things are what I did to get to where I'm at today. Like, and there's no levels, with this either. I don't see it that way. But some things that people might consider mundane that I do almost on a daily basis in a spirit of service. One is I wish people happy birthday every day, or almost every day. Again, a lot of times I'll take Saturday and Sunday off. So then what I do is I either wish Saturday and Sundays on Friday, or I'll wish Saturdays on Friday and Sundays on Monday. But I do that because Facebook tells us how. Robert Hollis said he does it every day. And it's a way that you can sort through your contact list and weed out people that aren't necessarily connecting with you or aren't on Facebook anymore. I come to pages every day, people that are not on their account anymore, like they haven't posted for a year. So I'm like, get them off. Let's make room for people that are active, right? 2, making new friends most days of the week and connecting them to my Facebook. So this isn't all online. I do work in person too, because I go to the grocery store, because I go to the doctor, because I go out places and I talk to people. So anytime I'm in a situation where I'm talking to someone and I make a connection and I feel that spirit of, mutual interest, you can usually feel it. People smile, they'll feel comfortable around you. Hey, are you on Facebook? Oh my gosh, let me connect with you. And even if it's a moment where I can't connect with them right there, I'll ask them for their name. What's your name? And I'll get their name, the spelling. Is that how you spell it? Cool. I'll look you up when I get back on Monday. And then I look them up on Monday. I send them a friend request. I'll send them a message. Hey, I met you at the grocery store. It's so cool to talk. And it's a way that you can connect people and make new friends without doing it all online. And I do believe that gives another level of strength to who you are in your network online, because you're actually friends with people that know you in person. They'll comment, hey, it was so great to see you, or oh my gosh, it was great eating with you at Chick-fil-A. Like stuff like that. Like connect those people online. Let people see your relationships, because it inspires people. It does. I mean, randomly people will say, the way you post pictures of you at like a store or at Chick-fil-A or something, I just would never, I would feel so embarrassed to do that. Like people say that. I'm like, why? You're beautiful. You're amazing. Your family's awesome. You need to post more pictures. But you inspire other people to share their life and their freedom when you share yours. And that's just the key of it. 3, posting to my fan page and sharing to my group and my personal page. Whatever order you do those, I think we need a mix of all 3. We need to keep our personal page active and post there. And that's where I'll usually post my personal things. I'll just post or either a quote. Like if I don't have a lot to say and a quote pops up in my head and I'm like, bam, that is powerful. And if it hits me like, wow, that's powerful, and I feel like writing it down, I will post it on Facebook. Or I'll write it down and I'll put a reminder, post a Facebook share at noon. I like to be a little mindful during the times I post. I notice it makes a difference. Again, God guides everything. I don't think that my post at 2 p.m. are any less important than my post at noon, but my posts at noon get a lot more visual and a lot more traffic. So the times that I found that are so successful to post, 7 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Since I've been going on live in the evenings, I noticed that there's a different crowd, there's a different community of people on at night. It's different people. So being kind of varied in your posting too, when you post. Like 2 posts a day is what Melody and Robert coach on, 2 posts a day at least, and share it out everywhere. Like if you're posting to your personal page, share it to your fan page, share it to your group, share it wherever you can. Like Facebook is about sharing. It really is. Being friends, sharing is caring. They love to see you share. Okay, so 4 is inviting people to my mentors group. A principle in the science of getting rich is if we help others get what they want, we will absolutely get what we want in the process. And I do believe, well, for sure, Robert Hollis teaches in all his courses the concept of edification. Melody Riva taught that in her 30-day accountability, the concept of edification. That was something I never did. I was not in the habit of doing that. I never had a reason to. I felt like I didn't know who to edify. I didn't have anybody to edify. I kind of felt like, as far as my business or my now in my spiritual life, I did, right? I would edify my pastor or God. Ultimately, he's obviously the first edification for me. You know, if I'm going to thank anybody and I have one moment to do it, I'm going to thank God, and that's going to be it. But if I'm going to keep on going, then, you know, like everyday real life, I'm going to introduce people to my mentor, because it opens their mind to the concept of, oh, people have mentors. Like, why would Rita have a mentor? What is their mentor helping her do? I didn't know what a life coach was. I never used to know what a coach was, or even a health coach. There were years ago where I would hear that and be like, what does that mean? Like, I think of PE coaches. So there's a whole community of people that do not understand what we're doing. They don't know we're even here to help or to offer resources and tools. So all of these things are helping us get out there and get the word out, right? And anytime we're not talking about ourselves, people like us more. You know, I'm telling you, if you go to people's pages that are trying to grow their business on their own, without a team, without an upline, without a mentor or coach helping coach them on what to do, what to say, like something, they have no help or guidance, you can see what's happening. They have post after post after post of products, and there's like 3 likes on it because people it's probably their grandma and their aunt or whatever, their children, their other ghost account that they have to start liking their page. Anyway, but I was there one time too, and we've all been there. And again, there's no level of someone's better than the other. It's just some people learn other things, but also some people are not open to learning other things. So that's where we sort, and that's why the first thing I do. So here's number 5: is I give a gift to all new friends. Everybody, no matter who it is, no matter what it is, they get a gift. The very first thing they get is a gift. And it's just my sorting tool. It helps me to know who's got their eyes open, who's listening to me, who's really hearing what I'm here for. Now, that doesn't mean I don't listen to them either. There's been times where someone's like, hey, are you open to look at something? And there's been times where I'm like, right now, I don't have time, but I can, if I have time later, or if I pop back in tonight, or whatever, maybe. But I don't give my time away anymore. And the only way to know who's listening is to sort people. You can't ask someone, are you listening? They're going to say, yeah, I'm here I am, I'm listening. But we know that a lot of people are not listening, and it's not their fault. It's that they've been programmed and taught not to listen. They've been programmed and taught to just do what they need to do. Just go to work, just do your job, just do your thing. And it's like robots. And here's where I think that a lot of times it takes time, and doing all this very, very consistently, reaching out to people. And number 6 is post inspiration and motivation. We can get used to, we can get so excited about our product and I do this all the time, and I'll post about products, and it's important to balance it out and always balance out your post for inspiration, motivation. People need to know we care, because if they don't know we care, they absolutely don't care about our products. If we don't care about them, it's just true. So you get to choose, are you here to care about others, or are you here to care about yourself and your own, I even go as far as say your own business. Truly, as we're helping other people and truly listening for needs, and who has a need, and who's open to option. Everyone's not open to option. So yeah, I'm sorry, I got totally lost track of time, but I'm done. That's it. That's my inspiration. So if you guys have anything, please unmute yourself. And if you got to go ahead and go. I know your time is extremely precious, ladies. You're welcome to come do it. What's mine? Yeah. Oh, Teresa said I need to start using my diffuser more. Yes. And I set myself up for success. Again, I set that up to start going off a couple of hours ago to kind of get me in the mood and get my stage set for talking, for being inspiring and being inspired after a whole day. You kind of got to put yourself back in there. You just got to get back in that harbor of perfect harmony. Right?
I use mine all day long.
Well, I do in the house
all day long.
I literally have one going in the house all the time.
Yeah.
But I need it in my office when I'm in here working and that kind of thing. So I think that's more, Hello.
Yes, it helps me focus. I use all different ones. Some bring on immediate relaxation. Like if it's lavender and frankincense, it's like immediate relaxation. But then if it's something like peppermint, right, or something like that, it's like great. I'm like, yeah. Ooh, I'm alert. I'm good. Brain power. That's another good one. Anyway.
Love brain power. Citrus fresh also. Any of the citrus are like.
Yes, I have all the vitality ones too, because I like to put them in stuff and drink them. It's great to put in water, like the lime and the lemon. Love it. Yeah, I'm having issues because we're packing to make this big trip across the nation, right? And I want to bring all my oils. I'm like, my husband's like, you're not bringing your big
How big is your oil? How big is your oil pack?
It's not that big anymore because I knew this was coming. So I've been minimalizing. It's only that big right now.
That's not bad.
But I have other stuff packed in there. So basically that's my care kit. Like I have my facial stuff in there, like all my vitamins, my medicine.
I like orange. Orange is good.
I love orange.
Yeah, so I weaned down to just my favorites, like the essentials. The Digees we use for stomach stuff.
That would be so hard.
It makes me want to eat a cutie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
smell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very amazing. Yeah, the quality of it's amazing.
Well,
it's almost better than buying a lemon or
but
an orange to me.
I want her to order some more.
It won't go bad.
We ran out of
I
lavender.
know we haven't been reordering the oils or anything, because we're leaving. So I cut off all my auto ships, like literally, like we're nomads. We don't have an address.
But you
And
have
I've
the
already
address
been
of
saving
friends.
money. So
You have the address of friends, so you can say, "Hey, I'm going to be there in 3 weeks. Can you?"
we will be. Yes, ma'am. So that was actually one of the things we'll talk about. Let me go ahead and end the recording, and that way for the replay viewers, they won't have to listen to all this extra stuff. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, ladies. And it's been so inspiring. I'm going to turn off the recording, and we will talk again